Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of How to Speak in a Dublin Accent with Mrs Gibney. Now, as I mentioned before, I find visual aids are very helpful when I'm trying to learn a new language or anything new at all. So I was thinking about using parts of the body so that you would really be able to understand exactly what I mean. So, we have here a nose, a mouth, an eye, an ear, and a head. Alright? And of course, hair. And a neck. Alright? So here's the types of things you would use. You might say if somebody is very cheeky and, they've no fear of saying anything at all or embarrassing themselves or anything. They have a neck like a jockey's bollocks. Or you might not know what a bollocks is. A bollocks is, it means several things in Ireland, and we have very many phrases for the word bollocks. So usually, you could say it in a nice way to somebody. You could say, you're an old bollocks, you are. You're an old bollocks. Or, if somebody was being kind of nasty, and you were talking behind their back, you might say, he's a bollocks. Or, if somebody says, would you ever go around to the shops for me? You might say, I will in me bollocks. And that means, no, I won't go to the shop for you. Now, the word bollocks is spelt B-O-L-L-O-X. Bollocks. All right? And it is very close to the bum area. The bum. You might call the bum the buttocks. We have several words for the bum, and they involve things like arse, hole, hoop. And we use that in many phrases. We might say, you're an arsehole. It's very close to the American version, asshole. So we say arsehole, And then, of course, there's other words we would use that for. I give them a root up the bum. That's a kick up the bum. All right? A root up the bum. Root. What else is there around bum? He's a shite bag. That's, of course, that's nothing to do with the body part, but it comes out of the body part. If someone is somebody you just don't like, you might call them a shite bag. Shite is the equivalent of shit. Shite bag. It makes it worse, doesn't it, if you imagine it in a bag. Anyway, moving on to more body parts. Now, the boobies. The boobies. In Ireland, the nipples. Well, we call them here in Dublin diddies. All right? Now, also, thinking about around the facial area, right? You might say your mouth. She's an awful mouth, right? If somebody is shouting about the place, she's an awful mouth. Shut up, you mouth, you. You're an awful mouth. And if you use a word like awful, it gives it a lot of weight, awful. If you just say you're a mouth, all right, that's a little bit rough, but you're an awful mouth. There's a lot more stress on it, And then, of course, if you were talking about somebody that's very stingy, very mean, you might say something like, he'd live in your ear and he'd rent out the other. He'd live in your ear and he'd rent out the other. Or he'd take the eye out of your head and come back for the lashes. You take the eye out of your head and come back for the lashes. Then what else have we got? We've got, oh yes, of course, the finger. If somebody is being very lazy and just hanging around the place, you might say to them, get the finger out. Get the finger out. And you're really saying get the finger out of your bum and go and do a bit of walk. So get the finger out. Also, if you've spent a lot of money, like I spent a lot of money on this bathrobe, if you spend a lot of money on things, you'd say, that cost me an arm and a leg. An arm and a leg. I can't show you my leg because I have to bring the camera down. It takes too long. So that cost me an arm and a leg. I think that's all I have really in body. Oh, the leg as well. There's another one for the leg. If you're running, let's say you're running from the Gardaí. The Gardaí are the police. The guards. The guards is the police, and the Irish for that is Gardaí. So we say the Gardaí. And if you're running away from the Gardaí, you'll say legge. Legge. Legge means to run. Alright, so I hope that was useful to you all, and I look forward to seeing you for another lesson with how to speak with the Dublin accent with Mrs Gibney. Alright, God bless, talk to you later.